Hello and welcome to VR Reviews. 2019 is over, so now it's time to do our top 10 figures of 2019. As usual, there are some limits on my list. I don't allow any repaints or re-releases, and I only allow one figure from each line or series or things to that effect. So only one Marvel Legend, only one figure art from each section of figure arts, only one Figma from each section of Figmas, and other things of that nature. I have reviewed almost everything on this list, so if you do want reviews of those things, you can go find them. And obviously, this list is completely subjective and only based on the things that I like, so you'll probably disagree with most of it. And with all that being said, let's go ahead and get right into the list. Starting off with number 10, we have our Marvel Legend for the list, which is Beast. He's just pretty much the best Marvel Legend that came out this year. Really good articulation, completely new sculpt and everything. Only real issue was the head, which I was not a big fan of. But overall, certainly the best Marvel Legend I've picked up this year. It wasn't even really much of a contest. Number 9 is SH Figuarts Conan Edogawa from Detective Conan, or Case Closed, whatever you want to call it. I'd always wanted a figure from Case Closed, and this is a good replacement for the Fig Fix, which is what I was using before. He is overall really solid. He's a nicely articulated in scale version of Conan, so if you do want a figure of Conan, I think this is about the best one that you're going to be able to get. And they do seem to be making lots of characters in this line right now, so you could probably get a decent array of characters if you were looking to get more people and fill out your Detective Conan roster. Number 8 is SH Figuarts Snape. Unfortunately, this is probably the last SH Figuarts Harry Potter figure that's getting made. I don't think they sold very well, so I'm not expecting them to ever release anything else. But Snape was the best figure they released this year of Hermione and Snape. I think are the only ones that came out this year. He's got a really good likeness to Alan Rickman and is overall just a solid addition to the Harry Potter line that is probably dead. Number 7 is the Dyson Kenshin from Rurouni Kenshin, which is an unofficial figure. And I ended up liking this figure a lot more than I expected to, since I'm not really a big cloth figure kind of guy. And he's also an unusual scale, slightly bigger than 1/12. But I had wanted a Kenshin figure for a long time, and the Revoltech one is awful, so I was more than willing to try this one out, and he turned out to be really good. He's got a lot of really fun expressions, and his clothing, while not perfect, looks fine enough for clothing at this scale. Overall, a really good option to get if you're looking for a Kenshin figure. Number 6 is Overwatch Ultimate's Zarya, which is the highest that a domestic figure will rank on this list. This is the only Overwatch Ultimates figure that I've gotten, but based on what I've seen, she is probably the best one in the line, at least in my opinion. And that's not just because she's the only one that I even wanted. But I think if you are someone that's into Overwatch and you like Zarya, there's basically no reason not to get this, because she is just really good. And she makes a fine addition to my collection of things with pink hair. Number 5 is my Polynesian for the year, which is Alvin. There have been a few Polynesian releases this year, several of which are repaints, so they don't get to count towards the list. Otherwise, Gray Yana might have made the list instead of Alvin. But Alvin is a really nice design. I like his overall aesthetic. He's like a cop boy. He's cute and follows a color scheme that I like. I have no real complaints about him, and he's pretty easily the best unique figure that they came out with this year. Number 4 is a Figma Astolfo. Once again, something with pink hair from something that I've never paid any attention to because I've never watched or played any Fate things. But he's a cute boy figure, which we do not get very often, and he's got pink hair, and he's just a really good Figma. So all of those things mashed together put him in my top 4 spot. If I was like an actual fan of Fate, he would probably be higher. But being that I know nothing about Fate, he has to be relegated to number 4. Number 3 is 1000 Toys Hellboy, which is probably just like from an objective standpoint the best figure on this list. 1000 Toys makes things that are really well articulated. He looks exactly like a comic iteration of Hellboy. If I was like a huge Hellboy fan, he would probably be my number 1. But since I'm just a moderate Hellboy fan, he makes number 3. He's basically perfect. If you like Hellboy at all, you should get this figure, even though it's fairly expensive. I can't imagine somebody that likes Hellboy being disappointed with him. Number 2 is Figma Goblin Slayer, which is my top Figma for the year. He's just really well done. All of his details are where they should be. He's nicely articulated. He's from something that I like, which makes him better than Astolfo, and is just overall a really good representation of Goblin Slayer. If you do like that series, I see no reason for you not to pick this up. Apart from lacking in goblins to slay, he's basically perfect. And lastly, my top figure of the year. You may have noticed there's no Dragon Ball things yet, so this is the Dragon Ball thing. It is SH Figuarts Super Buu. I think Super Buu is just objectively the best made SH Figuart that came out from the Dragon Ball line this year. Maybe the best one that they've ever made. His articulation is really solid. All of his expressions are spot on. He's fairly close to being properly sized. Size being an issue that the entire line has, but he's close enough. And he's a character that I was hoping that they would make, because he is my favorite form of Buu. I would say he's just about perfect. As long as you're not one of the people that hates the Buu saga, I see no reason not to have him in your Dragon Ball collection. And that wraps us up for the top 10. Hopefully, you liked some of the things. I obviously like the things as they are on a list of things that I like. Going into 2020, there will be more things that I like, and then I'll be able to make another list of 10 things that I like about a year from now. But until then, goodbye! Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed my content, feel free to subscribe and click that little bell thing. I've been told that that does something or other. You can also give me money to buy toys at patreon.com/vrreviews, see pictures of toys at instagram.com/vrreviews, or see tweets about toys at VenomRaptor09 on Twitter. And I would greatly appreciate you doing any of those things. Number 2 is Figma Goblin...